What's up, everybody? It is Friday, and this is episode 4 of All In with All 22. So glad that you can make it. You could watch it afterwards. Whatever, we're doing a lunchtime stream. Well, it's almost lunch. About an hour will be lunch for the fat guy here. But all in. All in. I'm all in with All 22. Your boy got his first W this week, so we actually know how scoring's going to go. Got my first victory. Not bad, right? My all-in with all 22 careers starting off great, 1-0. I think I might have been the second highest scoring team in the league, so congratulations to me. We learned a lot. And the first thing I'll say is punters don't matter. Punters don't matter. They don't score for shit, so it doesn't really matter what you did with the punting unless you enjoy like 0.1 point extra a week. Congratulations on that 10th of a point. Koopa. Yes, we learned a lot from week 1. So, hey, we got a short show, so we might as well dive right into it quickly here. And boom. There we go. Here's week 1. So you guys can kind of get an idea of what scoring is going to look like on a weekly basis as far as points go. Not crazy. I mean, you think about it, we have 53-man rosters, and we're starting a lot of people. So to see scores in the 70s and 60s might be a little bit, oh, what the hell? But we can dive in and look at the exact scoring. It's actually kind of fascinating how well it is spread out amongst all of the positions. Quarterbacks are still really good, and they can provide you an advantage. But I think it might have been a little bit overblown, right? We have some pretty well-balanced scoring outside of kickers and punters. So as you can see, this is the league. I faced off with Matt Bruning from Campus to Canton. Sorry, Matt. You had to take that L. Was the second highest scoring team in the league. Go me. Pat myself on the back. Brandon, the 71.9 top scoring team on the week. But got myself a W as well as Indy's finest. Mello, my boy Mello. Brandon. Adam, unfortunately, as you can see, he took an L. 1 point. 1 point L. And Shorts down here. He got a W as well. But let's pull it up and see. This is, we're still working out some bugs here. I remembered how to see it. Week 1. There we go. Matchup. All right, so this is the squad here. As you know, Aaron Rodgers didn't have the greatest game. It's kind of an understatement. Didn't have the greatest game here, 5.9. Neither did Austin Eckler, but, of course, Jets. Justin Jefferson, he had a marvelous game. Jamar Chase had a pretty good one. Deontay Johnson. So this is one other thing that we learned. Depending on your formation, right? So you guys saw earlier, on the past couple episodes, you can change formation. You can go 3 wide. Or 2 running backs, 2 tight ends. Same for the defense, like you can run 3-4, 4-3, nickel, that kind of stuff. The extra player, the one that you would sub out, right? So if you're running 3 wide receivers and you wanted to go to 2 running backs, that third wide receiver or that second running back, they actually get their points reduced, right? So when I was looking at it last week trying to decide, I just basically went off of the base percentages, right? So you see the wide receivers are 5.25 and the running backs are only 3.4. So if it's already getting reduced down, I want to start with a higher base, right? So at least when the percentage hits, I'm not taking as much. So even though Deontay had a reasonable game, you see he only accounts for 1.3 points on my team. So Kyle Pitts did almost nothing. Offensive line was pretty solid. Through Leonard Dickerson. Okay. But yeah, kickers. I mean, we had the famous Brandon McManus missed 64-yard field goal. But outside of that, he did it right. Justin Tucker, the legend. But, 0.7 points is all you're looking at from the kickers. And then we'll match up on the defenses here. Vita Vea, I expected better, but it's going to be interesting with PFF grades too, like how much I really have to dive into the defensive side of the ball because guys like him, aren't going to put up the traditional stats for IDP, right? We're more concerned about how he's doing in the run game, beating blocks, that kind of stuff. So interesting to see that he was so low. I thought he had a good game, but again, I'm not the one doing the grading, so I gotta play with what PFF said, and they're better at it than I am, and they said it was just it was okay. Deron Payne, all right. Again, here you're gonna see it. I started 3 defensive linemen, so my other defensive lineman takes the hit, right? Only 1.28% for the multiplier instead of the 4.96. So Hargrave got me 0.7 points. Not spectacular. Josh Allen, good game. Bradley Chubb, fabulous game. Devin White, again, I think I talked about it earlier, actually, when I was doing the startup draft, about guys like Devin White. I have this perception of them being such great players, but then the numbers for PFF grades don't match up. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's all the appeal of all the athletic ability and the speed and the wow plays, but actual grading when it comes out to being a linebacker, not the greatest. And I got caught up and, hey, I'm going to start the guys I know. And that's going to change heading into these next weeks. Tremaine Edmonds was okay. Trayvon Diggs, Wolf, again, another one that I touched on where, interceptions, stats, all that stuff is great. The grade doesn't really match up to what he actually provides. So have to get out of that mindset, and when there's money on the line and W's at stake, I will. L'Jarius Sneed, awesome. Derwin James, we know what he is, and Minkah Fitzpatrick had a hell of a game, but this is what I mean by punters, right? 0.5. You have a 0.77 multiplier. Like, it really doesn't matter what punters do. We can kind of go through. I want to see some of the other punters. So for those of you who are in all 22 leagues and you're wondering, one of the things I found out and was telling the guys about, you want to see other people's scores. It's kind of counterintuitive. Like, you think League Home, it looks like this is the ability right here where you can kind of hover over the verses and click, but nothing happens. So what you actually do is go to matchup, week 1, and scroll. Right, you click these little buttons, you can scroll back and forth on the left or right, and then see other people's matchups, see how they did. For this sake, I just want to point out, right, so we got some more punters at 0.5. Let's see if we can find what the highest scoring punter was. 0, that's nice. 0.5 again for this punter, Logan Cook. Do we get any real good ones? 0.4, 0.5. Yeah, I'm not going to have a lot of stake in punting. Let's just say that. And we'll look at some of the total scores here quick too. But let's see, 0.5 and 0. Okay. Don't really worry about punters. Players, really cool that I was able to go through this. I made a lot of waiver claims this week too. Koopa, I noticed with defense, it's really related to the offense. They're playing my D-line and safeties did horrible because I played good players in horrible matchups versus okay players in good matchups. I like that. It really is going to be a matchup-based kind of game. I really do believe that. I like that. So some of the PFF grades, we can look at everybody. Let me sort here. Punters. Best punter last week, all 22 score, 0.6. So this is the top punter in the entire league as far as grade and what he would have scored you, 0.6. Punters don't really matter. Let's look at kickers. Again, Cade York, stud. Eric's probably in love with Cade York. Eric loves his share of Cade York in all 22. Got him 1 point. So, phenomenal game. But quarterbacks, we can look at it. Of course, Josh Allen, awesome, 8.9 points. Running backs. Ooh. Come on, sort there. DeAndre Swift, number 1, 2.8 points. Okay. These all like feel low, but you got to remember it's accumulation of the team. Justin Jefferson, of course, we know how good he was. A.J. Brown had a fabulous game. One of the things Brandon brought up, too, especially with his wide receivers, we'll look at it here in a minute, but, run block grade is going to play a big factor into it. So For those of you out there just thinking like, well, I just need stats. I just need stats. You got to remember these wide receivers need to block efficiently in the run game too. They can't just be absolute zeros. So Brandon actually snuck by with a couple of good wide receivers who, stats wise, game, if we think about from the traditional dynasty or fantasy football aspect, weren't the flashiest, didn't do the greatest, but they're hell of run blockers in the run game. So they got some pretty great grades for that. Travis Kelce, Colby Parkinson, right? Is that a shocker to you? To me, Joe Fortson. Okay. Tackles. Tackles are pretty big. You got a lot of guys in the fours, right? You're going to need some good offensive linemen. Guards, let's see how they did, how they matched up in score-wise. I goofed up and clicked too many buttons. But 3.3 for the top one. We'll move on to centers. You got 2.2. See, they kind of go down there. D linemen, 4.6s, right? So these guys are going to be pretty important. I imagine with the edge rushers as well. Yes, just follow the money in the real NFL. The positions that get paid, those are going to be your highest scoring ones when they have good games. Uchenna Nwosu, pretty good. I was kind of impressed by him. He had a not only all 22 score, but you could just tell in the game, the game against the Broncos, he actually looked pretty good. He looked really good, kind of popped off the page. Ernest Jones, sure Zach's going to be doing backflips about how well he did with Ernest Jones, start of the week. Cornerbacks, DJ Reed, 4.1, 4 for L'Jarius Sneed, so I did all right there with Sneed being one of the highest scoring ones. And then Derek Forrest, Minka Fitzpatrick, another shout out to my team. But that's kind of how the scoring broke down. You can kind of see it here. They do a great job here. They get all the grades here, the run blocking. But let's look at wide receivers, run blocking. Right. That's what I'm talking about right here. Brandon. Okay. Jacoby Myers, a guy that I like in Dynasty, a guy that I like in fantasy football because he's cheap. He's just solid. Not spectacular. Again, didn't have a spectacular game. But look at this run block rating. 89.5. So, Brandon, good on you, buddy, for figuring that part out where you're going to go, hey, maybe I'm going to find out. I'm going to find it in the margins, right? I'm going to find the edges. So, another position that I think people need to start looking at too then for run block rating is going to be the tight end position, right? Undervalued. George Kittle should do very well in this when he's back on the field. And then one I wanted to point out is something we never really think about. I mean, it kind of gets mentioned in traditional fantasy circles, but more as far as playing time, because we don't actually score points for it, is pass blocking for running backs. So it's going to be huge. Kind of interesting when you see Clyde Edwards-Helaire rank up there in pass blocking. But again, snap percentages, the whole thing comes into play as well. So that's where we're at here. Week 1, got some takeaways. We're heading into week 2. Let's look at, we were pretty active in the league on the waivers. So hopefully we can see this here. Yep. All right. So we'll go back to, this is going to be our first waiver run right here, September 14th. So we got some actual good biddings here. Justin Matabuike, Ryan Kelly, dropped J.C. Treader, Uchenna Nwosu, right, picked up. Geno Smith getting picked up. Didn't think that was going to happen. DeAndre Carter, Miles Sanders, Jordan Phillips, right? So these are the moves that I had made personally. I picked up Jordan Phillips. He had a hell of a grade, played really well. Travis Jones did not suit up. Jalen Tolbert, again, this is where fantasy and reality are actually going to meet. I'd never drop him in a dynasty league after 1 week, but in this format with 53-man rosters and needing, I am definitely dropping him for Jarvis Landry. Spent $2 on him. And then Aaron Banks, the guard. Wyatt Davis, I screwed that pickup in the startup. So pick up Aaron Banks. There were some other pretty good ones out there, some savvy pickups. Jerry Hughes I got for $1, dropped Peyton Turner. He had a marvelous game. 93.6. Now, can he keep it up? Who knows? But I need all the depth I could possibly get. One of the things too, I was interesting. The chat pointed out to me with all 22 was I think they probably addressed it. I saw all 22 guys did a podcast last night, I believe. I haven't watched it yet. I need to tap in and get that done. But our league, some of the people pointed out that they had a weird thing with injured reserves, like guys that were actually on injured reserve in real NFL suddenly came off of it, and then rosters became illegal. So, a little bit of a hiccup, but we'll kind of see. These are things that we're all expecting, but here's where we're at heading into week 2. Of course, we had last night's game. I didn't really have much outside of Austin Eckler. Yeah, we're gonna roll the same thing out. We're gonna roll the same thing out. We do have some breaking news, some coach speak. Coach McNutted has benched Terran Armstead in favor of Laramie Tunsil. Hot take right there. The rest is pretty set. Landon Dickerson, obviously, I'm gonna bench him. Come on, Landon, pick it up. Aaron Banks slides in right off the street, and Quinn Miners, he's got to start for me. D-line, Jordan Phillips, right? We're just plugging him right in. He looks so damn good. He's going to start. My edges aren't changing because they're studs. Devin White, I'm sorry. And Darius, please come back. Actually, Shaquille now. Shaq Leonard, please come back. I need you. My corners, Trayvon, you guys sit on the bench, buddy. Sit on the bench, you're killing me. And then nothing really else changed here. But these are preliminary lineups here. It's gonna be interesting. Hello, yeah, Zach, you are not lying, buddy. There is going to be a lot on waivers, not just for you, but for me as we kind of figure everything out. So that's where we're at with week 1. It was good. It's good to kind of see some of this coming together. Some of my strategies starting to take place. But one thing that I can definitely say is now that I actually have grades, we kind of know where the end is. This gives you so much utility here. I'm going to spend a lot of times in this players list, and we're going to just kind of break down the grades. Break down the grades and see where you can find the edges. So, like D-line here, specifically. Run defense, Chris Jones. Oh, baby. Now, some of the things, at least for me, that I've been trying to pay attention to is when I look at grades, or if I look at just score, or if I'm sorting, right, I need to pay attention to the snap counts. Because there are some guys who will be in here who have very low snap counts, but they play really well on limited plays. Now, it's all about hitting the minimum. It's all about hitting the minimum or they don't count. So for D linemen here, we're looking at the minimum, if we're breaking this down, is 25. And this is actually how many they hit. So just kind of keep that in mind when going through. Quarterbacks, 30. Running backs, these are like the kind of guys where you're going to be, right? Because you're going to have some names in here who actually have good grades, but it's going to be a question mark whether they hit the snap counts every single week. So just keep that in mind when you're looking and sorting, going through. Something that I'm trying to be very conscious of, because you'll see some like, how the hell is this dude up here? And then you look and he is right at the snap count, maybe just above. Maybe you can put that a little bit of strategy in there too, right? Those guys who have highly efficient PFF grades but just barely play. The downside is I don't want to screw up my depth chart, but I guess the upside is if they don't hit their snap counts, maybe you can grease the wheels a little bit because you have that auto sub feature. Like we're looking at the matchup here for Matt. These guys in red, everything that's highlighted here in red, these were auto subs. So the players that were in the starting position or above them on the depth chart didn't hit their snap minimums, so the next player went in. Whether that's because they didn't play at all and Matt forgot to change his lineup, or because they got hurt in game, whatever the case may be, they didn't hit their snap minimums, so they were auto-replaced. So not necessarily a detriment. Like if Sunday morning, Jamar Chase is ruled out for whatever reason, right? Knock on wood, we don't want that to happen. But as long as I'm good with setting the rest of my depth chart in the kind of way I wanted, if Jamar Chase doesn't play, then everybody just moves up one slot. So keep that in mind. Not the worst thing. You don't have to be right there, right there, trying to micromanage as much as like in a traditional lineup league, because you do always have that fallback, and it's not going to kill you if you forget. The only thing I would suggest, though, is that I'm trying to be really cognizant of is if something happened to this guy, is the rest of my depth chart in the correct order that I'd want it to be? Like, do I feel safe? Because I wouldn't want them to, Larry Tunzel's out, and they put in Taron Armstead, who also didn't play, and then they go to the fourth stringer, and it's, some guy who isn't even on a team, right? Or maybe not going to be active. So kind of keep that in mind. Other than that, chat, Cooper, you saw you were in here. Zach, you were in here. Any other questions or concerns that you wanted to bring up for week one? You guys are in here. Let's talk about your teams. How'd you do? Week one. Let's go look. Oh, come on, Zach. 0-1. I expected better. I thought you were the IDP guy, too. Look at these scores. Come on, buddy. You got to pick it up here. You can pick it up. I need some competition here. Koopa. Again. Oh, well, you had a bad offensive week. But this is going to be interesting to see. Like, is 70 the baseline? Like, is that where you can expect to get a W? Or now that people are wisening up, we've cut some dead weight off our team in favor of good players on the waivers. If that ceiling is going to be a little bit higher, right? If the floor kind of gets raised and maybe it's 75 points now. Another interesting thing is, I haven't done it myself, but we haven't made any trades. No records found, boys and girls. None. Shorts, what's going on? Oh, we'll give you some shout outs. Shorts is here. Indy's Finest is here. Let's give those guys some. How'd you guys do? Where's Shorts at? Yes! Shorts got a W. Good job, buddy. And Indy's Finest, he is also. Welcome to the Winners Club, boys. Welcome to the Winners Club. Let's take a look at your matchups here quick. Indy's Finest did beat Zach. Ooh, got a couple auto subs. You're going to like Mike Williams this week. It's going to work out well for you, I think. Points-wise, offense was okay. Didn't have any, true standouts. Defense, oh, my Lord. Look at those Blues. Myles Garrett, Jeff Simmons, Grady Jarrett. Good job, buddy. Not a great offensive showing for you, but the defense sure picked it up. And Shorts, let's get to you, buddy. How'd you do? Oh, offense, 4.6 from Mike Evans. We got some whiffs. That's okay. It's okay. You still got the W. How'd that defense do? Here we go. Quinnen Williams. Just a 0 from the punter. Didn't matter. See? Punters don't matter, Shorts. You tell them. All right. Well, I'm interested to see how we're going to do. Oh, I guess I forgot to look, too, because of last night's game. We might have some scores in. What we got? Week 2. Oh, shit. Melo's got 14 points already. And Brady, Tigers, he's got 10. So let's go take a look and see. Wow. I got 2.1 from Austin Eckler. Okay. Not the greatest. Defense, how we doing? 2.6, 2.5. Okay. Not crazy. Not the worst. But what we got here? 10 points. What's he got? 2.9, nice from Tooney, Khalil Mack, and Nick Bolton. Okay. All right, 8.7 from Brandon. Brady, 10.6. So you got Creed, Trey Smith, and Justin Herbert. All right. I want to see where this 14 came from. We got to find this. There it is. All right, 2.3 from Orlando Brown. Harrison Butker did not play. Are Chris Jones and Joey Bosa and Juan Thornhill. So that's how he's doing it. Look at these guys. Studs. Studs. All right. Well, we do have scores already in. We do have some grades in. We'll obviously get quite a bit on Sunday. I remember talking to Brandon too while we were doing some of our Dynasty stuff, but just in bypassing too about all 22 when Monday night. Like he thought he was going to lose until he looked at what he still had to go on Monday night. So keep that in mind. That it's never over till it's over because some of these guys can get some pretty good grades. And, I mean, every one of these scores from week one, we're not too far off, right? I won by 7, call it. You know, you got a 5, you got a 7, you got a 7, a 1 point, and a 5. So you're talking one good quarterback week, one good edge rusher week. Like, you can pop back in it from a 5-6 point deficit. So that's where we're at. I'm having a good time with this. It's very interesting. Some of the strategies starting to take shape. Hopefully, we can get a trade to talk about. We can break down a trade here next week, but we're still waiting on the first one. Somebody's got to break the seal. But appreciate you guys tapping in. That's gonna do it for episode 4. See me back here next time. I'm gonna try to do it on Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere in there, but it gets pretty busy with football schedule in there, but don't worry. Never fear. I will be back here every single week to break down all 22. I want everybody to be able to have a record of this journey that we go through, any strategy that we picked up, and see how this league does. And anything that I'm doing, I want to be fully transparent because the ultimate goal is next year, get more people in, get more leagues, and make you guys some damn money. That's going to do it for me. I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. Enjoy lunch. I'm about to go get some. Peace.